He led a packed schedule that would make any seasoned traveler envious, but John Paul II had a very specific mission to evangelize the world. In his 26 years of travel, the Pope led a total of 104 pastoral trips outside of Italy. In all, he visited 129 countries.
He had accomplished perhaps something that was never accomplished by church people except St. Paul, perhaps. But even St. Paul, he only traveled around the Mediterranean. But this man, John Paul II, he really went to every corner of the world. I think North and South Pole is the only ones, the places he didn't go through.
When broken down by continent, Africa has the largest number of stops. He visited 43 countries there. He also made his way to 33 countries in Europe, excluding Italy. In Asia, he visited 19 countries, 17 in North America, all 10 in South America, while he traveled to 6 in Oceania. But those numbers don't reflect the countries he visited more than once. The Polish Pope traveled to his homeland a total of 9 times, more than any other country. John Paul II visited France 8 times, 7 to the mainland. He visited the United States 7 times as well, and he traveled to Mexico and Spain 5 times. In fact, his first 2 trips in 1979, just months after his election, were to Mexico and Poland. His last trip abroad was to the Marian Shrine at Lourdes. Though he wasn't the first pope to travel, John Paul II was the first to travel to many new countries, especially in the Third World. His extensive trips took him to even the smallest, most remote places like Guam, the Seychelles, or Curaçao.
John Paul II, of course, is the beloved pope of the whole world, not only of the Catholics, but I would say even those who are not non-believers, they love him. And the reason for that is he really brought the papacy close to the people, not only in the way he had addressed his audience, but also in the way he had visited so many countries.
In many ways, John Paul II was a man of many notable firsts. During his first trip to the United States in 1979, he became the first pope to visit the White House, where he met with President Jimmy Carter. 3 years later, he became the first reigning pope to visit the United Kingdom since the Church of England split from the Catholic Church. During that visit, he met with Queen Elizabeth and he prayed with the Archbishop of Canterbury at the Canterbury Cathedral, the seat of the Anglican Church.
He really went to the places where the people were. So for that alone, I think we have to thank God for the gift of John Paul II, because he really brought Jesus with him and brought Jesus to those corners of the world where the Lord had never physically, bodily had gone. He brought Jesus there.
In 2001, he also traveled to Syria, becoming the first pope to set foot inside a mosque. He visited the site where John the Baptist is believed to be buried in Damascus.